You're listening to Good Girls, the number 41 sex podcast in Saudi Arabia. Thanks for joining us. Kay, what are we talking about today?
And first, our usual disclaimer. If you are driving somewhere with your father-in-law, I hope you guys are having a great ride, but also turn off the podcast because...
If you are doing maintenance on your hot tub in your backyard and you're not sure if your neighbors are into this... you live in a tight-knit row home community, maybe put in headphones.
Because today we are talking about sex myths. Ones that you secretly deep down believe, ones that you secretly hope are true, ones that you hope are not true, ones that we always thought were true. We're going to go maybe a little bit into the evidence, but we are by no means offering any medical advice here, and anything we say, maybe research again. But we are super excited for today's topic.
Yeah, and I did start out, I was doing some research with my faithful research assistant, Google. So I started typing in, do women prefer? And I have several upcoming episode topics for us. Do women prefer beards? Do women prefer tall men? Do women prefer circumcised or uncircumcised? Older men, girth or length? Men with beards? Uncircumcised, bald men?
Do we care about any of this, or do we just care that they're kind and funny?
Thank you. Google. What we are looking for, Google, is just a man who gets us.
Yeah. Their penis can even be skinny, but maybe not. So I want to start off with a sex myth. And this was one that I heard a bunch during high school and a lot of jokes about. And it was that vaginas get loose the more sex that you have. So if a person was having sex a lot in high school, that, you know, having sex with her would be like throwing the hot dog down the hallway. And I'm here to announce that it's likely debunked. But amazing Quora input from Susie, who is apparently mid-60s, and says, no, absolutely untrue. If that were true, mine would be the size of an airplane hangar by now. I have had sex with many thousands of men, and many of those times have been with some pretty massive cocks, and I'm just as tight now as I was in my 20s. A well-endowed guy will loosen me up for a short time, maybe a hot minute or two, but after that, my pussy will snap right back to her normal, glorious tightness.
Susie, if you're out there, we would love to have you as a guest and just a general life mentor.
Yes.
Susie is mother.
Many thousands of times. Susie, you're amazing. And so, yes, the vagina is a muscular structure that relaxes and moistens during sex to let in the pee-pee, but then it bounces right back. And so if when you were a virgin and you had sex for the first time, it felt different, likely more because you weren't relaxed or because you were doing it with somebody who didn't make sure that you were ready, and not to use the word moist, but it is the word that fits.
Especially if he has a tree-sized cock, ladies, you're gonna want to engage in some foreplay.
If a romantic guy came out of the book and was like, I'm here for you, take my massive cock, and he wasn't one of the ones that goes down on you 3 times, probably needs some foreplay.
Although I am catching up on my romantic K, and I have yet to have a sex scene where she doesn't come 3 times before he enters her. So maybe that's all part of just, you know, engaging in some light stretching beforehand, before your ogre sex. Or I just had a visual of Shrek. And I have a question, because I was just sending you a video of a lot of romantasy books categorized by type of creature main character has sex with. Is there a ogre Shrek fanfic subgenre? Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
There is, and I've read them.
No!
Yeah, the ones where also like somebody's having sex with like an alien. I'm like, is this the author's fantasy, or is this just a fun place where their mind went? I'm not sure, but I still read them. I still remember them, so there's something there.
What aliens, though? Like, I'm picturing E.T., the aliens with the tentacles, Alien and Alien.
Sounds almost more like Avatar from the books that I've read. Like, some have tails, and they're kind of integrated in the scenes.
I could be down with the Avatar guys.
And that kind of goes along with the common myth of that you hear again, like when you're younger, and I think by your age you realize not, but that huge is better and you want some guy with a big dick and like the ruler and all that. The ruler meaning the measuring tool.
Yeah.
Are we debunking that?
I feel like we are.
N equals 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, generally having also done some internet research on the topic and having been around long enough that...
and obviously our partners are huge. We want to make that really clear. Massive alpha man.
That should be part of the disclaimer at the beginning of all episodes, is my partner is super hung. And...
gigantic. Yeah, we just say that they're average to make you feel better as the listener.
This is one that there is actually some research on, right, Kay?
Yes. So there are sex studies on partner satisfaction in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, and they found that penis size is less important than emotional connection and technique for most partners.
You know, they say we ladies are complicated. I really don't think that we are. Emotional connection, nice guy, sense of humor.
Do you take the time to make sure that we're ready, or are you just going to stick it and penetrate because that's what you saw in the movies and you didn't think about it?
Exactly.
Now, what about myths about ways to predict penis size, even though we have said that is not too important?
So we've commonly heard the shoe size one. We also, in asking some of our fan base, heard a new one, which is from Japan, apparently, which is guys with big noses, which then led somebody to point out Adrian Brody.
My husband has a big nose. No. not like Adrian Brody's, though.
No man is Adrian Brody, although then another commenter pointed out that apparently Adrian Brody is quite tall, which I have no point of reference because in movies, like, you don't know that, like, Tom Cruise is like 5'6".
Actually, his foot size is disproportionately large compared to his height.
Oh.
He's 6'1", but his foot size is that of like a 6'6" man. So they were saying there is no way, and not to objectify Adrian Brody of all people.
He seems kind of obnoxious, so let's objectify him.
But probably big. Based off of that.
So if we can get some data points on Adrian Brody's penis size, I feel like we could really, with a sample size of 1, either corroborate this myth or put it to bed.
Peach's Sexstone on Reddit. Is Peach's Sexstone meant to be like a Mario Kart thing? I'm not sure, but either way, said that skinny, tall men, the reason why they're skinny is because all of the extra energy is going into making them very well endowed.
Medical opinion on this one, Kay.
Tall, skinny men, not my type, so I have very limited evidence. So now we're going to have an expert urologist weigh in. Oh, hi, I'm an expert urologist.
Oh my gosh, I have a friend who's a urologist. Okay. While we don't you do sound like my friend who's a urologist. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is one that we are going to follow up on for the Dads of the Week input. And I will follow up with Dad of the Week and find out for you if there's any data points from somebody who has seen possibly more dicks than you. Okay. Unclear.
So verdict, mostly false, that bigger is not better, and that it's more about technique and all these different things, but that we still love things like nose size and foot size predicting things.
I mean, you have to have some way to guess because it's not like you can just walk up and ask, so reasonable to try to form conjectures, but maybe not scientific.
Some guy said that hung like a can of tuna is where it's at, and that made me very unclear about like which way the can of tuna was going. And I don't know, is there a can of tuna that's not like a circle?
I was confused by this one as well, and it made me feel like
they did not want to follow up with further details.
Yeah, it made me think that mystery meat is maybe not somebody who knows a lot about pleasing a woman.
Yes, that is.
It made me think of a 40-year-old virgin when he was pretending that he had touched breast, and he was like, "Oh, they're like bags of sand. They're so great."
So, next myth: taste and diet. Can you eat something to make you taste better down there? What do you think?
I think yes.
Ooh, have you tried?
I have.
Pineapple?
Pineapple juice, yes.
Okay, that is also what others have said, that pineapple is kind of real.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I did try this, and I mean, the thing is, it doesn't taste good. It doesn't make jizz taste good.
So,
but it makes it taste less salty, maybe? Whatever that kind of funk is.
So there is some information on this from Sherry Ross, who is a sexual health expert. She's also the author of Sheology, and Sheology has a sequel. So really, a normal pH balance for a vagina is slightly acidic. And so you want it to be slightly acidic because that's how it fights off infections and everything. Mm-hmm. You don't want a basic vagina.
You don't want to be a basic bitch.
Yeah, you don't want to be a basic bitch, and you definitely don't want a basic vagina, because then you're going to get infections, and then you're really going to taste weird. And so if you've heard things before, like on our very podcast, that guys have said that we taste like a 9-volt battery, well, look at us. We're acidic. We're keeping ourselves
just
healthy.
Like a 9-volt battery, we too are acidic.
And we don't want to be basic. But, you know, the taste is a little metallic with high levels of acidity. You don't want to be too, but I don't know. I don't even want to say you don't want to be too. How you taste like is part of you, and that we should accept that. And, you know, the vagina, Dr. Ross says, is not meant to smell like a rose garden.
Yeah. Summer's Eve, you are canceled.
But things, you know, like you are what you eat, like fresh fruits, fruit juices, Greek yogurt, drinking a lot of water, that can lead apparently to a sweeter tasting. Now, are there, you know, did they get 600 women and do a randomized controlled trial where half the women had this diet and half didn't, then have men go down on them? No. But
we need to fund Dr. Ross. This is why we need to fund the National Institutes of Health, so that Dr. Ross can do more important research.
And really wonderful quote from a person whose name was Pasta Trader. He deleted his comment when we were asking these questions before, and so I don't want to share his full name in case you want privacy. But said that Montana plus-size farm chicks taste like the best corn you've ever had. There is no doubt for me. I've tasted 7 or 8 times for myself. So, Montana corn.
I want to know how much he's tasted non-Montana plus-size farm chicks so that he has a basis for comparison. Like, what's his scientific method here?
Montana, how do the Montana normal-sized farm chicks taste?
Yeah, you have to compare against a control group of Montana normal-sized farm chicks. You have to compare against plus a control group of plus-sized farm chicks from other states.
Maybe they
possibly
taste like
even
different
other countries.
Corn. Maybe you just ate corn beforehand and that's how it tastes. I'm not sure.
I do wonder if this person just eats a lot of corn.
And that is just like the constant flavor there for him.
There was actually just corn stuck in your teeth, sir.
Going into men. Semen, well, not really men, but men.
Oh, I'm sorry. My research with the pineapple was the male consuming the pineapple. I do just want to clarify that now.
Oh, it was not you?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, I've seen the same thing with like the men and that. I thought like that would be even trickier to test because not all sexual action where you go down on a guy necessarily ends with you swallowing it, but if a guy goes down on a girl, then they're instantly going to taste.
But if you wanted sex to end with a cock in your mouth, it would be pretty easy to make that happen.
And it would be very easy to serve some pineapple beforehand. So
it's a readily available juice. So I invite everyone to do their own scientific research at home.
I had a friend where I went to their house and like in their bathroom, and like they shared their bathroom. It was a co-ed house with others. They had like the biggest bottle of Vagisil you've ever seen. Like they got this bottle of Vagisil at Costco or something. And I asked him about it, and I said, I'm imagining that because you kept the Vagisil in there with all of us here, like, you don't mind me asking, what's the deal with the Vagisil? And she's like, I am very, very stinky down there. And it made me wonder if, I don't know, if her partner was saying things, or if maybe she just needs a pineapple.
Yeah. Or if maybe all of these douche ads just give some people unrealistic expectations.
Or she read Romantasy and saw that she's supposed to be like honey. Like it's supposed to be just like the sweet nectar of her. And so that's why she has her Costco size thing.
Were these people with honey scented, vaginas, fully human?
Kind of. This is a mixed question in Romantasy.
Question.
If you have one light power, are you
Did
human?
they attract bears, or was this some kind of like beast-human matchup? Because if your vagina tasted like honey, I would assume that would attract bears, which is a concern for me. But in some Romantasy world views, that might actually be really great.
The main one where they kept on saying like nectar honey is 100% one where like the guys very often like also has a beast form. So
yes,
I think
he's a bear!
Yeah, he's just going down on her because he wants his honey. So, taste is weird. It's all right that we aren't a rose garden. None of us are.
And then it's okay that your jizz just is not going to be a delicious treat. And I have to say that is an unrealistic thing from porn that I have seen a lot, is the women that are just like guzzling this. They're like, oh, thank you. I want to know realistically if there are women out there. I mean, because I feel like there are certain things that people do get into. Is that for some people? Maybe is that true? Is this a special treat for you? I feel like for the majority of women, they were taught to act like it's a delicious treat because there's more respect for a woman who swallows.
So I would consider myself pretty non-judgmental, but the one thing I heard of that I was not able to understand is that in college, one of my girlfriends apparently, like, the guy came in the condom, so she took the condom and then milked out the cum so that she could drink it.
That's like balloon
Plasticky.
flavored.
Yeah.
Balloon flavored cum.
I was like, no, thank you. That was like the one time that I was like, is that what the guy wanted you to do, or is that like something that you proactively did?
Yeah, what was her answer to that? Did you get any color on that? Was it something that she did because she thought that he would be turned on by it?
Maybe we should have her on the podcast in the future.
I have already a list of like 4 more guests that I would like to have based on our episode thus far.
Definitely Susie from North Carolina with her airplane hanger, not vagina.
I know Susie's just going to be my life coach, but yeah.
So, semen overall, there is kind of this myth out there that cum improves your mood.
I had not heard this one before.
So there was a study, and it's a really kind of controversial, not great study, where it showed that women who have sex without a condom had fewer depressive symptoms.
More unplanned pregnancies.
Yeah.
Fewer depressive symptoms. I'll take it.
That's one of the reasons
STIs.
why, just like from the get-go, it was controversial, is because we don't want to discourage condom usage among young people who have multiple partners and all that.
The mood boost is not worth it, ladies. Just go for a jog.
Yeah, the mood downer you will get during your unplanned pregnancy might outweigh that little burst of pleasure from the cum being absorbed into your system. But the other thing was like, well, are the people who having sex without a condom, are they just in, long-term connected relationships where like that is part of the reason why you are happier? But I don't even want to put that out there as
this seems like a very correlation more than you're not really studying any causal linkages here.
Though one of our inputters before this did say that they get a little bit of like a high that almost is like endorphins that goes from having unprotected sex or swallowing semen. But I don't know. I've never personally don't think I've gotten a high from swallowing semen myself.
I feel like to design this experiment, you would need to just have it like apart from the sex. If it's just the semen, then you would need to have an experiment where like one group is swallowing like a neutral product that did not emanate from the male body and is just doing a shot of this, and then one group is doing a shot of actual semen.
Well, I drink a shot of jizz a day to keep the doctor away.
And no longer need antidepressants thanks to my daily shot.
You might notice very smiley, happy person is all just because of that shot. That I just have my partner leave it out for me in a little medicine cup.
We like to play Would You Rather a lot, and we have one particular friend that his downfall in any Would You Rather is to like drink a cup of semen. Like,
why is it an option that you guys keep on putting out?
Well, because the first time that he was like, oh no, like I'd rather take this like thing that to me seems way worse. I mean, as somebody who has had semen in my mouth before, I'm like, it's not really that bad. But then it just kept escalating because we were trying to find the point at which he would choose the semen, and he just never did. So I won't reveal this person's identity, in part because we don't reveal our friends' identities on this show when they share their interesting facts with us, and also because if you wanted to create some kind of jigsaw situation for him, then apparently the other thing in this situation just needs to be a cup of jizz.
So we could do with anything, like watch my kids for 8 hours or drink this.
Yeah, exactly. If you trapped him into the right scenario, I don't know that I want my kids involved in that, because obviously then these are very high stakes, but yes.
So drinking milk makes you come more, which there's no necessary evidence of, but I also thought it kind of ties into this like weird thing that guys have where it's like,
milk?
Yeah, if I come a bunch, I'm like a man. We're like, I don't think
that's
that most
very,
people
porn kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm like, why would you want to come more unless you're like trying for fertility? In which case you care more about your little swimmer's health.
Yeah, exactly. My understanding, and correct me if you read otherwise, is that it's not the quantity of liquid produced, semi-liquid, it's not really liquid, the quantity of goo produced. It's more the mobility and what's the other word?
So it's you want the count to be high and you want high motility. And there was a study in 2017 by Human Production, in the Journal of Human Production by a Greek team, Karianis is the name, and I'm sorry, I'm likely butcher that pronunciation. But it showed that among people who have the healthiest diets, they were the most likely, like that top 25% of healthy diets had much better sperm count and motility than people in the lowest fourth of the diet. So there's something there about semen quality, but again, I just don't think that unless you're trying to get pregnant, the average woman cares
the
about
qualities of your output is not under a microscope in any particular way. Yeah, exactly. And if that's the case, I mean, diet is part of it, but I also feel like, sitting with your laptop on your lap, microwaving your balls, like there are a lot of things.
I'm microwaving my balls right now.
We are both currently sitting here with our laptops on our laps, so I am just thankful that we don't have balls and that we're both done having children, because we would be microwaving the shit out of them right now.
Oh my gosh, my partner went into the hot tub when we were, in the first month of waiting to see whether or not I was pregnant with our second, and I was like, get out of the hot tub, you're frying your little
swimmers. Get those boys out of there.
Like, we're not gonna have superfluous sex this month, come on.
On the topic, going back a little bit, on the topic of the various qualities of, so I actually learned the scientific name is seminal plasma is semen without the spermatozoa. So I guess that's the actual, like,
how sexy is that?
This is so sexy. So Kay and I have a friend who is a researcher in dermatology, and when we were talking about some of these topics, mentioned to me that he had actually read a paper where somebody, God bless the gay man, apparently gay man, and I'm going to butcher his name because he's Swedish, but Edstrom. And he did this research on the properties of, we'll call it jizz for scientific purposes, and basically found out that it has antimicrobial, antifungal properties. And not only that, but those properties are most evident, I guess, at the pH of the human vagina.
That's really interesting. For our listeners, I do want to say that I have had sex where our seminal plasma has then been within me, And I have still gotten UTIs. So still make sure that you're taking good care of yourself. But that's super interesting that there is something. And should we start using it on our face when we get a staph infection?
I asked some of these questions. So first, his medical opinion not being one of the researchers on this study, but having reviewed the research on our behalf, is that this is likely evolutionary, and it's to protect the little swimmers in the semen because you have a whole microbiome in your vagina. So it's actually less about protecting. And he pointed out that you can still get pregnant if you have an STI or a UTI. So the jizz is not very concerned about your vagina and is more concerned about protecting its boys.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. I hope that the listeners heard that instead of my wish that it made, UTIs impossible.
Okay. Well, that was immediately my question, because I was like, why do we need to pee? We know we need to pee after sex.
Because everything in life, it was just about protecting the actual baby.
It's just about protecting our bodies are nothing.
We are but a vessel.
Empty vessels to put babies and antifungal semen in. My head went to that question first about the UTIs. And then I guess the point from the earlier researcher that we read that, what was her point? That it's, restoring the natural pH is more important for us. And then, my second question was similar to yours, although instead of face cream, I was thinking worst case scenario kind of situation.
Eye cream.
Okay. Dear readers, I will confess that I recently had a sty, and I think that is actually how this question came up, and this was the first time.
You just needed a cum shot to the eye.
This was the first time that I've had one since I was in high school, I believe, due to some eyeliner getting clogged in my lash line, and it was very bad. But then somehow we got on this conversation topic about the medicinal properties of semen, and so my question was, should I have a cum shot to the eye, especially because, as discussed in a previous episode, in my experience, jizz in the eye burns and is a terrible thing.
Unpleasant, yeah.
So unpleasant. So my follow-up question, once I got this paper from our research friend, is, scenario, we are in the woods, we are camping, there is not a very extensive first aid kit, and I am wounded. I'm thinking of that thing when you get a jellyfish sting and the myth of should you, the episode of Friends where it's should you have a man come pee on it? Or a woman, but a little bit harder in the beach situation for a woman to pee on your jellyfish sting.
One of the many ways we were screwed over in evolution.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and with the jellyfish one, spoiler, it does turn out that you're not supposed to pee on it. You're just supposed to put vinegar on it. Although I do feel in a pinch, pee is also acidic, so I don't know. And in my scenario, we are out in the woods and we don't have access to any other medical care. So would it be better to have a male companion jizz on your wound? The answer was no. Disappointing.
I'm happy that you said the answer was no, because I didn't know it, and I was like, if you say yes,
I'd rather feel
obligated.
I'd rather get infection. And he said, unless you're trying to impregnate your wound, then probably not.
My little wound grows a little baby bump.
Yeah. This sounds like something in one of your freakier romanticides, Kay.
Now, aphrodisiacs. Food making you hornier or more into sex, or I don't know. For some reason, I feel like I've heard a lot about oysters, but apparently only me.
I've heard this one too, but I think it's just because oysters look like vaginas. That's literally, I don't think the male brain is always very advanced, and I think this is just a case of they're looks like a vagina, must get you vaginas.
I'm looking at you. You are a beautiful oyster with a vagina, and now I want a vagina.
I can't keep thinking about them for some reason.
So bananas make you hornier. Claim could be that because it has multivitamins that help support energy and hormone production.
Or looks like a dick. Phallic shape. Again, I don't think people's brains are that complicated. Yeah. Use the banana for foreplay. Gets them every time.
So there's no consistent evidence out there for dietary aphrodisiacs at all. From bananas to oysters to chocolates or anything. Though, as usual, if you eat healthy, you're probably more likely to want to have sex. And the sexologist, there it is. There's our sexologist. Yes, there might be a placebo effect and psychological factors that lead to perceived libido boosts. Okay, thank you, sexologist.
Well, and I feel like this is one of those cases where it's not really a placebo effect if, like, you actually feel it's kind of like things that boost your mood. It's like if you think that, drinking, drinks that are fizzy, like, boosts your mood or something, then it boosts your mood. It doesn't matter if it's a placebo effect. And I kind of feel like that about libido too. If you feel like it boosts your libido, then by all you have your...
I mean, what makes you hornier than just jamming a banana in your partner's mouth?
Exactly. If you incorporate it. Oh, who was the comedian that had that bit that she was like, there's no appropriate way for a woman to eat a banana? She's like, bananas are like the worst snack to have because, like, people look at you and you're like, how do I eat this and not look like I'm...
And when it's like a particularly big banana, you feel that way even more. And we only have big bananas in the United States.
Do you nibble at it? Do you just, like, shove the whole thing in your mouth? I guess you could cut it up. That's really the only thing.
I was just about to say, like, I eat a lot of bananas, but now that feels naughty to say.
I mean, hey, if I were to guess one fact about you, it would be that you eat a lot of bananas. So it totally tracks. I do want to point out one that I read in my internet research. But this is from the Cleveland Clinic, so, it's a real medical place. Maca, which is a Peruvian root vegetable, which I feel like is one of those, like, trendy superfoods that you see ground up and everything right now. Studies show it may be effective at increasing sexual desire and alleviating some forms of sexual dysfunction. And for all of our readers out there drinking milk and trying to increase their sperm count, there are signs it may improve.
I want to bust a huge load.
There are signs. Well, this may help improve your semen quality. So it's not about the size of the load. It's the quality of the load that matters. But then another group of research said health claims have been dragged out of context and can't be fully supported by science. So once again, I beseech the federal government to fund more research dollars where we need them most.
We're going to go and lobby to Congress as a bunch of good girls to help, debunk the sex myth.
Everyone's busy trying to save school lunches and Medicare right now. Meanwhile, the good girls are...
we want randomized controlled trial of how to improve taste.
Of semen. Of improved semen quality, quantity, and taste. All right, those are all of the sex myths that I have, Kay.
I touched on the major ones. There's other very odd ones that I found during this, like that if you masturbate and cum, that your hands become hairy, which is apparently...
It just sounds like some kind of Christian thing that's like an angel dies every time you masturbate.
Yes, so we do not need to go into that. We touched on the important ones that I feel like your average woman would actually want to know versus just interesting, so we can move into follow-up from previous episodes.
Yes. So first one, I'm just going to jump right in with this one, Kay, because we had some dissatisfied listeners, and by dissatisfied listener, I mean, my spouse. So this was last episode when we were talking about, what is your thing that makes somebody, when they do it well, suddenly seem like an object of sexual desire. His point, and I actually agree with this one a little bit, is that you misunderstood the question, and it's not just like, what is the hottest sport that guys play? It's like, what is something that is that would, like, surprisingly, like, you are like, oh, just looking at this person. So his thought, he was deeply offended with the gymnast, is that you have just this, like, man in a leotard who's on the gymnastics team, but then you see him do all these feats of strength, and you're like, I didn't see you as sexy before, but, like, watching you navigate that pommel horse, I am suddenly like, damn. Versus, like, hockey players, which were maybe, like, everyone thinks hockey players are hot already. Reactions.
Suppose I can accept that. But your particular answer of you saw somebody who you knew and then you saw them play the cello in a really talented way matched what his definition was.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
I would say that mine did. I think that he was upset about your reaction to his gymnast idea.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. And
he would like a public apology.
I would like to publicly apologize that I now see. I can't even say it. Like I don't know. It's just not my thing. And like the pommel horse guy has like so much love, and so many girls are interested to him that I don't think I'm like. I think that he has enough, but I honestly think
his point was that you need to find somebody who's surprising, because you named a lot of people who are already universally known to be hot.
Oh my gosh, these are high standards. if you know my partner, when you meet him, you wouldn't assume that he like plays hockey or like would be good at soccer or anything. And so when he starts doing those things or says that, it's like, oh, ha, I'm surprised and turned on.
Okay.
But I get that, you're talking more about a person randomly busting out a skill that you didn't know versus me seeing them in their leotards and all that. But again, I did say that I can think of some hot gymnasts up there. I can also report that my partner successfully used Good Girl after about 50 times of trying it in a way that I was like, oh, you're still being you. And I can tell that, like, you're just too kind. I was like, you need to put on a persona. Like, you are, like, my boss, and I am trying to get a raise.
You're a bad boy.
Yeah.
And you want me to be a good girl.
Yeah, be a good girl. Put it in your mouth. And so finally, I was like, that was much closer. Yeah. So we have had some success there. I do think that what I've realized is that calling it anything that has the word kink in it feels kinkier than saying just the light things. Like, I think a lot of girls, when they read the books, are like, oh, like, I enjoyed that sex scene where somebody was called a good girl. But if you say, oh, I think I might have a praise kink, then all of a sudden...
Then they're like, I'm not kinky.
Yeah, I'm not... Yeah, ooh, that's like your own kink. That's like your own thing. That is... I am not that. So
it's not a kink, it's just a sexual preference.
But aren't kinks all just like sexual preferences?
Exactly.
Yes.
Let's normalize that.
Yes.
And then finally, in my catching up on Kay's reading list. So... I will say, once I start something, I have to finish it unless it's just like so bad. So after reading Fourth Wing, I read the second one in the series.
Oh, thank you. I'm very touched that you did that.
No, I will say, I am genuinely, I haven't written my reviews yet, which, sidebar...
We now have book reviews on the website, goodgirlsmedia.com.
Woo! And by we, I mean Kay, because I'm still catching up. And I feel like I have to read at least 5 or 6 of them in order to be able to write a decent review, because I don't have a lot of basis for comparison within that romantasy genre. So I do feel like the character, obviously, I like a series, I like a TV show better than a movie. I like a series better than a standalone book, because it gives everybody more space to kind of move away from the initial tropes of like, I find the very tiresome, like, oh, we hate each other, but now we have some reason where we're forced to share a hotel room together. So I feel like always...
Called forced proximity.
Oh, yes, exactly. I feel like by the second book, they get to actually develop their characters a little bit more. I think the thing that lost me a little bit, again, Zayden not exactly being my zaddy yet.
It's all right, Zayden, if you're listening. You're my zaddy.
Remains to be seen. It looks like he goes into some complex character development in the third book. But his whole thing in the beginning where he's like, I'll tell you anything. And then he keeps all these secrets from her. And she's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, well, you didn't ask the right questions. And I'm like, sir, excuse me. That is not how relationships work. You can't be like, oh, I have an STI. And the woman's like, what? You didn't tell me. And he's like, well, I said I'd answer any questions, but you didn't ask the right questions. You forgot to ask if I have genital herpes.
I think that what would have been more appropriate and mature for both of them is if he was like, hey, I'm literally leading a revolution. This involves many different lives and many different people. I'm going to be as open as with myself, but I can't tell you anything. And she was like, hey, I understand because I am a confident, secure adult who knows that you love me. But, But again, I guess
would have been they're like 22 in these books too. So I think that's another major thing that loses me is the only people who seem to have working ideas for how to solve all the world's problems in this universe are 22-year-olds. And I'm like, if this happened in the real world, I like fresh perspectives and stuff, but all of the adults in the room are complete fucking idiots. And it's like, only the people who are currently in school and like the main character's sister are like remotely intelligent.
So also going into back to our episode 5 on physical appearance and how there are physical appearance standards for guys out there, we do want to put out there that we recognize that having blonde hair seems to be a negative physical appearance for guys in romantasy.
Yeah, and we just want to let you know that we believe that there are
It's okay if you're blonde, but you probably aren't a good person.
Yeah, we believe that there are nice...
If you're a guy in a romantasy book. I've never been with
a blonde guy before.
I have been cheated on by a blonde guy before, and to this day, we still call him Blank the Worst. I can't say the first name because it's a very distinctive first name, appropriate of a blonde.
we know he's a blonde.
So it might be true. Obviously, blonde woman, I'm one of you, and I'm not anti-you. But there is something there that as you read romantasy, you realize you see that blonde hair.
Are racist against blonde men.
Yes.
I mean, that's fine.
They're highly unfair to blonde men.
Blonde men throughout history have not been the best.
Okay, so to conclude this episode, I apologize to the first stallion of the podcast for misinterpreting the question. And
we apologize to blonde men. We apologize.
Big apology to blonde men.
Yeah. To anyone who...
We also don't want men with huge penises to feel like we don't accept and love them too, based off of this. You guys are fine.
Honestly, I apologize to plus size women from Montana because I feel like you're really being objectified by Meat Cat or whatever his name was, and he doesn't really sound like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry that if you were, eaten by a guy who's trades pasta based off of his Reddit name, and then you were objectified on there, though I'm happy that you taste like really excellent corn.
If you were with a man who might have had corn in his teeth, then you might be...
you might be part of his 7 to 8 people. And if you are plus size, but I'm not, plus size is wonderful, then you might be even more likely to be that person if you live in Montana.
You should ask this gentleman to stop posting.
Yes. And again, like most sex myths, we just need more research on. And so we're going to go, we're going to take it to Congress. You might see us providing
testimony. We're going to go do some more research, but not jizzing on open wounds. And our dermatologist friend was really happy to have confirmed that I was not going to do that experiment.
Yeah, and please just remember, take that shot of jizz a day. Keep off the depressive symptoms. And be a good girl. Have a great day.
You're a good health, good girls.